What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Boat Garage. Today we're going to do a recap on Lake Brookville. I've only been to Brookville probably 3 times, and it's in Indiana, but it's like a 3.5-hour drive for me, so I try to stay away from it. But it's a fun lake. There's a lot of fish in it. There's usually a lot of limits. The only reason I fished it is we fished the first 2 IBFs and weren't planning on fishing all of them, but we were leading the AOI points after the first 2. So I figured I'd better show up to the Brookville tournament and see if we can keep it going and hopefully finish out the year strong. So it was an okay practice. The practice, like, I figured a little something out with the chatterbait in practice in shallow water. And I kind of fished a little bit of that, but then I kind of like let it go and didn't really like mess with it too much in practice because I wanted to keep some confidence, and I also didn't want to like tear up the fish too bad because it's a very small lake and you kind of just have to pull into some areas and just fish and hope for the best on tournament day. Also in practice, I found one school off of a point where I pulled in there and I threw a deep diving crankbait over the point and I caught about a 2-pound smallmouth, and then I had about a 2-pound largemouth that was on, and it had come off. So day 1 of the tournament, I drew boat number 1 again, so that was awesome. Pulled in on that school and basically just started throwing my deep diving crankbait, which was the same one that I was throwing at Old Hickory. It's a DT14 from Rapala in the citrus shad color. Pulled up on those points. Probably within the first 5 minutes, I had jumped one off. That was definitely a keeper, and I didn't realize it at the time because they were biting and I was all excited. But that fish definitely would have helped me a bunch because I only ended up weighing in 4 fish. But I kind of tried to horse him in and just get him into the boat, and I let him jump a couple too many times, and he ended up taking advantage of me and getting off. So after I had caught that first one, or after I missed that one, I started catching a few here and there on that point on that crankbait. The last fish that I actually caught off there was a really nice one, like 2 3/4, 3-pounder. I actually had one follow it into the boat that was just as big. So it got me a little excited. I really thought there was a lot more fish on that point than there was, but I left the point after about 30 minutes of not having a bite and went and started running all my chatterbait stuff with the intent of coming back and fishing that point probably 3, 4, 5 times throughout the day. I really thought if I hit that point enough times, I'd be able to catch 2 more keepers off of it, have a limit, and everything would be all right. For some reason, at like 8 o'clock, the fish just shut down. And it seemed like after the tournament, talking to people, they had the same experience. I don't know if it was the weather. There were some storms coming in, but they weren't coming in until 6 or 7 at night. So not sure what the deal was, but sometimes that's the way the fish act. I mean, they're animals, so you never know how they're going to react to all the barometric pressure and the fishing pressure and storms coming in, storms leaving, all that stuff. But after I caught that 3rd keeper, I ran to another bank that I had been catching a lot of fish on a chatterbait, and so I ended up catching one about 14 inches on a chatterbait, and that was my 4th keeper. And then I ran around to all the other stuff that I was fishing with my chatterbait, and I had a couple that would I basically would reel it in and they would follow it all the way up, but they did not commit to it. And I don't know if that was due to the weather or what, but I ended up hitting that point that I had caught my first 3 keepers off of probably 4 or 5 more times throughout the day, and there was just nothing happening. I caught a few shorts, but it was pretty much dead, like I said, after 8 o'clock. So I ended up catching 4 fish for 7.95 pounds, and that 5th fish would have helped me huge. I would have ended up in the top 5 or close to it with that 5th fish. So I was kind of bummed out that I didn't get that 5th one in the boat, but that's the way it is. You can't catch them all the time. We're still actually in the lead in the AOI at the halfway point, so pretty excited about that. We have 2 at Monroe and 1 at Tanner's Creek. We got a lot of good fishermen behind us, and we're hoping we can hoping we can catch them in the next 3 events, the second half of the season, and end up finishing strong and end up getting that Angler of the Year at the end of the year. So that's the goal. We're going to see how we do, and you guys stay tuned. If you like the video, be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.